Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Welcome to today's class on control sections, which is one of the assembler independent features. So we have discussed 4 features of mission independent concepts of an assembler, namely literals, expressions, symbol defining statements, and program blocks. So before we go to the 5th part and last part, that is the control section, let me rewind what we discussed about program blocks, because normally the people get confused between program blocks and control sections. So I don't want that to happen. That is the reason why. So let me have a relook about program blocks before we get into the control section. At the end of this class, you should have a clear difference between a program block and a control section. So program blocks are nothing but a normal program what you have seen so far, but they are logically rearranged in the internal source program, meaning that the source program containing data and instruction is rearranged such that the data and instructions are residing close to each other. The only purpose behind that or advantage behind that is to reduce the format 4 instructions. We know why we have to reduce the format 4 instructions, simply because we can have a proper program relocation when the program is being executed. So program relocation becomes easier in the absence of a format 4 instruction. So program blocks facilitate us to write a program such that the instructions and data are residing close to each other. That is the first part what you have to understand from the program blocks. Second, in pass 1, only in pass 1, independent program blocks will have a exclusive location counter, so that at the end of pass 1, everything is going to be identified as a single block, and when it goes to pass 2, you don't see any difference between normal program and a program having a program blocks. Only during pass 1, some type of flexibility is given to the individual program blocks, such that they can resume wherever they have left in between, so that the location counter will be attached to that particular program block. Only to facilitate that, location counters are exclusively given in the program blocks, but only during pass 1. After pass 1, there is no difference. It is like any other program. So this is how we have to identify what a program block is. So program blocks are nothing but, if you look at the concept or definition, dividing a program logically. Why you are using the word logically? We are not physically separating. If you look at control sections, it is a physical separation. That's what we are using the word very clearly. It is an internal logical rearrangement of the instructions what you have in the program. That is basically about the program blocks. Once the pass 1 is over, for pass 2 and other object program, we have seen the object program also, you will not see any difference between a normal program and a program having a program blocks. So that is how we have seen the program blocks. Now let us look at the control section, and also we have used the word USE to identify where the program blocks are there. We have used the assembler directive by name USE. That's how we can identify the program block concept. Now we are at the last part of the mission independent features of an assembler, which is a control section. So control section is very, very important from exam point of view, and even to understand from the system software perspective that how it is being dealt in the system. And we are discussing that as a mission independent features, as a for an assembler. So control section, if you want to visualize, you can take it as a subroutine. What is a subroutine or a subprogram? Suppose I have a main program in C, let us say. That main program will call a subroutine or a subprogram, such that from the calling function, that is main program, the control is passed to the called function or a called program or a subprogram. The execution happens and will come back to the calling function, and the execution resumes. So there we see or attach some independency for the subroutine or a function or a subprogram, or anything what you have a separately written from your main program. So normally it is a subroutine or a function. Sometimes we also call it as a sub program. So, but whatever it is, a sub program is an independent existence from the main program, so that you can call that entity of a sub program or a function or a subroutine whenever you want, as many number of times as you want. If you look at our program, for example, in the current program, this is our program actually. We have been talking about this program in length from the beginning of this particular module, and this program has seen a lot of modifications as we have seen various features. But nevertheless, if you look at the first part, that is line number 5 to line number 110 is a one program, one set of the program. And line number 120 to line number 185 is one set of the program, which is called as a RDREC. Here it is very clear written, it is a subroutine there. Similarly, if you look at line number 210 to 250, it is another subset of the program. So this program is divided into three parts, three independent parts rather, but we have visualized this program as a single program for our so far requirements. But given the opportunity, even in high level language program, it is possible a big program to be split into main program and a subroutines or a function. Many times in your lab also it is exclusively asked, for example, bubble sort to implement. So some examiners might ask you, or it might be there in the examination, okay, don't implement bubble sort as part of the main program, create a function for a bubble sort, then call the bubble sort function. You might have seen that. So what is happening there? There are some functionalities which can be exclusively kept somewhere or independently kept somewhere, so that I can call them as and when I want. If that is the case, probably we call them as a subroutine or a function. And can you write a program without them? Absolutely. Depending upon the complexity of the program, you can write only a single entity of program without subroutines as well. But subroutines will help you again to understand better, more readability is given, and any debugging that is going to be very easy for you. If that is the case, we better go for a sub function or a sub program or a function or a subroutine, whichever the nomenclature we have, but which is an independent entity existing. If you take this program, which is a source program we have been talking about for a long time, this program is a single program as of now, but there is a scope to split this program into maybe three parts. Maybe line number 5 to 105, I can take it as a one program, which may be main program. And line number 125 to 185, I can take it as a one subroutine or a sub function. Similarly, line number 210 to 250, I can club as another function. Thereby, I can split this one single entity of program into three subgroups or subprograms. Then it is going to be very easy for me to understand. It's not only understanding, but it is also easy to, call them wherever you want. Now, if you are calling within the same entity, probably control has to go within that entity and comes back, and all those issue might be there. And when the program grows in length, so probably having a single entity becomes a complex. So thereby, better to have some program being split into 2 to 3 entities or more than that, depending upon the requirement, provided that entity what we are going to split has some exclusive independent activity. You cannot split a program or a skeleton of a program such that where there is no independent activity, then it is of no use. That particular set of instructions should be independent to each other. There should not be any interdependence. If that is the case, probably we can convert them into a subroutine or a function. So same concept what we are seeing as a control section. So a control section is nothing but a unit of a program, of the big program what you have been taking, which has a independent entity, or which has a independent location, or which has a independent identity rather. If that is the case, probably we call them as a control section. So control sections are nothing but the subroutines what we have seen in a normal program, which maintain its independency. But important topic what we have to observe here is a control section, which is an independent activity, can be independently assembled, can be independently linked, can be independently loaded. This is the important concept what you have to keep in mind. So in the exam, they might ask you, normally they can ask you, explain control section. That is a direct question. What is indirect question? Explain the concept of an assembler. Explain the concept of an assembler that deals with independent assembly, independent linking, independent loading. If that is the case, we have to talk about the control section. So You have to keep that in mind. So control sections, no doubt, they are going to facilitate a big program to be split into multiple entities depending upon the how isolated they are or how unique they are within themselves. If that is the case, they represent our subroutines, what we have in a high-level language program, and they can be easily identified as a single entities which has a independent existence. Since they have an independent existence, they can be assembled independently, they can be linked independently, they can be loaded independently. If that is the case, we call them as a control sections. So how it is being done? This is a concept of a control section. Is there any confusion now between a program block and a control section? So program block is part of the program, single program. It is only internally rearranged, logical rearranged. Whereas the control section, there is no link between the main program and the subroutine. They exist independently. It is not a part of the single program. Now you can say you have three programs. Instead of one program, they have three programs. If that is the case, probably we can identify them as a control section. So control sections are physically separated, physically independent, whereas the program blocks, physically they are same, single entity, but internally, logically, we have rearranged such that the data all kept at one place. Instructions are also can be kept at one place, so that instructions and data can be residing close to each other. That was the concept. Okay. So now the control section concept. Any doubt till this point? Or any confusion between program blocks and control section so far? Fine. Now, how to deal with the control sections now? So before I come to this, let me have a program that is involving control sections. So this is the program which we have written now using control section. The same program we have taken, line number 5 to 107, 110, no change at all, same program. Because it is a main program, because we know that the given program can be split into three entities. This is the first entity, main program, absolutely no difference, except if you have noticed some new thing has come here. This we'll discuss. So this is extra in the control section. Otherwise, the program is same. Okay. Next, you can see a new line here. Similarly, you can see a new line here, because the same program what you have been taking all these days has been split into three entities. The first entity is this one, the main program. Second entity is the one which is starting with the word CSECT. CSECT stands for a control section. Again, this is an assembler directive. So you can add in that list of assembler directives which you have been maintaining. Last thing we stopped yesterday with the USC. Now we can add CSECT. CSECT, the purpose is to identify control section. Okay, CSECT. So now the CSECT is here, the control section, which is going to be a new control section. That means till line number 107, till this is one control section. The minute you see CSECT, this is going to be a new entity, a new subroutine, a new block of data, which is a totally independent. How do you say it is independent? If it was USE, I could have not said is independent. Since it is a CSECT, because CSECT means control section, which is an independent entity, I can say this is an independent. So same program, depending upon type of assembler directive we have used, we can say whether it is a program block or whether it is a control section. If it is a USC, I can say it is a program block. If it is a CSECT, we say it is a control section. Similarly, at line number 193, you see another CSECT, which is another independent entity from CSECT till you see another CSECT or end of the program. So I'm seeing end of the program. So this is one control section because CSECT word is here, which is a assembler directive. So now the given program is split into three entities, and that is possible because we have a concept of a control section, and control section is going to be identified or is feasible using the CSECT assembler directive. Okay, now. So CSECT assembler directive is used, and that assembler directive is going to identify how many or which are the control section. So control section, we have no name here as of now because control section has been written like a USC. But if you look at the left part of the CSECT, you see some name here. So there is a name for control section. What is the name? RD REC. So we have given a name here, like we have written a program. No, in the program also we have given some name. What is the name? The name of the program today what we are taking is a copy. In some of the earlier cases we have taken division like that. So today's program name is copy. What you see in the start symbol, whatever you see in the start symbol in the label is nothing but a name of the program. We know that. Similarly, whatever you see in the CSECT, in the label, it is going to be the name of that particular control section. Similarly here, the name of the control section is a WREC. In the yesterday, the name of the block was given on the right hand side as a opcode and operand in USC. But today in CSECT, it is given as a label. That is another difference what you can see with respect to the control section and program block. Now, so control section has been identified by splitting the given complex or big program into subdivisions so that we can have a independent existence for them. So each control section, as we know, is existing separately, and that separate existence is going to be a concern for us because some of the data that I have used in one control section might mean that some of the data that is available in one control section might be used in some other control section. Let me see that. Let us take the program once again. Come to the program now. This is the program which is written with the control sections. Now, if you look at the program, if you observe, I have a RET ADR as one of the label. Is it defined in the same program? Yes, so no problem. I have a RD REC. Is it defined in the same program? No. So RD REC is the one which is not defined with me. So I have some issue where it is available because every control section is a independent. So far it was a single program. I could have searched it from start to end, but now it is a independent existence. Up to this only this control section is possible. This is only the range of the control section what we are discussing now. So anything that is available within this is available to me, which is not there, it is unknown to me. So RD REC is unknown to me. Length, it is defined. End fill, defined. WREC, not defined. So this is one more. There are two entities which are not defined so far. C loop, defined. Buffer, defined. Length, defined. WREC, not defined. So three items so far. RET ADR, defined. So these are all defined here. Buffer, buffend, max length, end fill, first, C loop. They're all defined. But these RD REC, WREC, which is again WREC, they are undefined. Meaning that I have used them here, but I don't know where they are. So when I am in this control section, when I am in this first control section, I have used some data, no doubt, because we know that we can, when we are using some high level language also, you are calling some sub program and something related to the sub program or some function you are calling in the main program, so that control goes to the sub program and program gets executed. But in main program, that data is not related to that particular program. Then we'll declare them as a global variables. So the variable that you want to take notion or information about that variable, both in the main program and the subroutine, we are going to declare them as a global variables. Otherwise, they will be local to that program, and it is very difficult to provide the connectivity, because local variables, you know the difference, because once they are defined in a particular block or particular subprogram, they will be existing there only. If you want to retain the name, if you want to retain the value of that variable which is local to that block in another block also, that is not going to be possible, because which is local to that. In order to make them have that particular data, either we have to make them as a global variables or declare them as a static, depending upon the type of high level language we have. So we need to provide a mechanism such that those variables which are commonly used between two or more control sections are properly addressed. So in this particular control section, we are in the first control section. We know the program has been divided into three independent entities or unique entities. We are in the first one now. In the first one, when I am here, there are three items by name. Let me highlight them once again. by name RDREC, WRREC, and again same WRREC. So two entities are used at three different places. They are undefined. So when I am in this particular control section, when I am going through the pass one, my system will have a confusion. You have used RDREC, but I have no idea about where RDREC is there. If you have used WRREC, I have no idea about WRREC. And as for algorithm, if you know, if something is not there, it will be taken as an error. But this is not an error because it is not here, but it is there in the some other control section. But how do you communicate that to the pass one? That is possible using these two entities. You are able to see here EXT DEF and EXT REF. EXT DEF stands for a external definition. EXT REF stands for a external reference. So what do you mean by external reference? Right now, let me talk about external reference because definition will come back later. So external reference. So what are RDREC? They're not here. What are WRREC? They're not here. WRREC. So these three things are defined, are used in my current control section, but they do not belong to me, but they are external to me. As far as this control section is concerned, I am referring something. I am using something which is external to me. Thereby, they are called as a external references. If you look at them, which are external references here? RDREC, WRREC. Why we have declared them as external references? Because I don't know what is RDREC. I don't know what is WRREC in the current control section. So the current control section does not have an idea what these RDREC, WRREC are. In the absence of EXT REF, what would have happened? The system would have declared them as errors and flagged them as errors, and system would have not gone to the next pass two at all, because unless RDREC is defined, you cannot assemble it, so it becomes a waste program. But we cannot do that because RDREC, WRREC, no doubt they are not here, but they are somewhere else. I can link that program with my program as we do in our high level language. If that is the case, I should provide that link. How that is provided, that link? The link is provided using EXT REF. So EXT REF means those labels, those symbols which I am using in the current control section. Please remember, external references are what? They are the symbols, labels which I am referring now in one current control section, but they belong to the some other current control section. So from this current control section point of view, these two, RDREC, WRREC, are external references. For some other control system, control section, they may not be external. For this, yes, they are not defined here, so they become a external references. So let us take one more control section. Suppose I am in this control section now. This is a new control section. I have come. New control section. Let me do the same exercise now. This control section is RDREC now. In this, which are defined, which is not defined. Max length is there. Is it defined? It is defined. So no problem. Input is there. Is it defined? It is defined. No problem. R loop is there. Is it defined? It is defined. No problem. Input defined. Exit defined. Buffer not defined. So this is an issue now. Let me take another color. So buffer is not defined here. So buffer becomes a external to this. Similarly, R loop defined. Length. Length is not defined anywhere in this control section. So length becomes another entity. So buffend and buffer, all these two. So buffend as well as buffer. So there are 4 labels in general, but one is repeated. Total 3 now. Buffer, length, buffend. They are nowhere here. They are not available here. So that means they are used in the current control section, but they are defined in some other control section elsewhere, and hence, since I am referring in my current control section, buffer, length, buffend will become external references to this particular RDREC. Thereby, if you look at external EXT REF, what you have written now? You have written buffer, length, buffend. Why you have written? Because we have used them in the current control section. but they are not part of this current control section, but they are elsewhere defined. Since they are defined elsewhere, I have to inform the assembler that no doubt they are not available right now with me, but they are going to be available to you later. To give that indication, EXTREF is another external assembler directive which is going to inform the system that I have a buffer, length, buffend, not part of this, but they are part of the somewhere else. Similarly, let us take one more now. The third control section. We are in WRREC. In WRREC, length and buffer are there. So length and buffer are not defined. So they become external to this. Sorry, this is extra. Sorry, length is here. Length is not defined. External. W loop is there. So buffer is external. So two are there. So length and buffer are not defined here. Thereby, they become the external references. So length and buffer are the external references to this. So this is how we are going to identify. So external references are those which are used in the current control section, but defined in the other control sections. They are references externally for me, for my current control section. Thereby, they are used under the EXTREF. Then what is EXTDEF? We have one more set, no? EXTDEF. EXTDEF are those, we are again informing the system that external definitions, meaning that, look, when I am in this control section, I have so many labels. Some are used within myself, some are taken from other references. When I take from other references, I call them as external references, but I have something within me, and these are nothing but my own definitions, meaning that I have some definitions which are defined in me but used elsewhere also. I have defined something with me and I am not going to use myself alone. I am going to give to somebody else also. External definitions are those which are defined and used in the current control section. So let us see what are they. So in the current control section, buffer, buffend, length. Are they defined here? Buffer is defined, buffend is defined, length is defined. It's not only defined, they are used. Are they used? Length is used, buffer is used, buffend is used. So external definitions are those which are defined and used in the same control section. Then we call them as a external definitions. Let us take the next one to avoid the confusion. So here, what are the external definitions here? Sorry, what are the EXTDEF here? R loop is here, EXIT is there, input is there, max length are there. So in that, R loop is a loop. It is not a label. Exit is a label. Input is a label. Max length is a label. So where are they here now? They are here as far as the max length is concerned. We have a max length and we have a exit here, somewhere exit. So exit again is not a label. It is a jump loop. So here we can take only max length as a one of the label. But the problem here is max length is defined on whom? It is depending on a buffend and buffer. Where are the buffend and buffer? They are not here in the same control section. So they do not qualify to be part of the external definition. What is external definition? Defined and used. Are they defined here? Buffend and buffer are defined here? No, because max length is depending on this. Unless these two are available, I cannot say max length is defined in the same control section. Even though I have used here, I cannot say max length is part of this control section because it depends on two values which are not available here. Thereby, max length cannot be taken as an external definition. Similarly, here we have a nothing here. No, nothing has been defined here. So there is no EXTDEF here. So, but here there is a possibility that we could have taken max length as external definition, but we cannot take simply because max length is no doubt is available here, but it depends on the two more entities which are external references. Already we have made them as external references, so we cannot take them as a external definition again. So this is the concept behind the external definition. So external references are those which are used in the current control section. Please be careful with the words what I am using, which are used in the current control section but defined in the other control section. They are externally referred. They are referred because they are not here. They are from the external agencies. They are called as the external references. Then what are external definitions? External definitions are those which are defined and used in the same control section. Then we call them as a external definitions. That's what we have listed here. Read this, you will understand. So first point is CSECT, which is an assembler directive, which will identify which are the control sections. Later we have two more things, that is EXTDEF and EXTREF. Why do we require them? Because each control section is independent to each other. Just because they're independent to each other, we cannot stop them interacting with the other control section. When that is the case, the interaction happens by usage of some of the labels or symbols or links. If that is the case, how are we facilitating that? That facilitation of linking or communication between one control section to another control section is done using the external definitions or external references. Then what is external definition? External definitions are those which are defined and used in the same control section. As you have seen, buffer, buffend, length in the first control section. And what are external references? External references are those which are defined elsewhere, not with me. They are defined elsewhere, but I am going to use now. So I'm using them, but they're defined in the other control sections. They are called as the external references. So where are they mentioned? They are mentioned in the top of the program. You cannot write EXTDEF, EXTREF somewhere wherever you want. No, like global variables, you should declare them in the beginning of the program itself. Immediately after the start, we have to define EXTDEF and EXTREF. So I'll take a pause here. Please recall what you have done. Meanwhile, let me take attendance. If you have any doubts, let us clear that before we go to the continuation of this control section. May I have attendance? Asta?
Present, sir.
Abhinav? Aishwarya?
Present, sir.
Ambarish?
Yes, sir.
Anu?
Present, sir.
Arbaz? Arjun?
Present, sir.
Ashok?
Present, sir.
Vinita?
Present, sir.
Bhargavi? Bhavisha?
Present, sir.
Chaitra?
Present, sir.
Chatterjee? Diksha?
Present, sir.
Deepika LG?
Present, sir.
Deepika MB?
Present, sir.
Murli Krishna?
Present, sir.
Gangubai?
Present, sir.
Guriya Kumari? Harshit?
Present, sir.
Junjar Singh?
Present, sir.
Kavya?
Present, sir.
Kishore? Lata?
Yes, sir.
Manisha?
Present, sir.
Manjunath?
Yes, sir.
Nayana?
Present, sir.
Nilanjan?
Yes, sir.
Nishant?
Present, sir.
Pavitra?
Present, sir.
Maithili?
Present, sir.
Priyanka?
Present, sir.
Pavan Kumar?
Present, sir.
Akash?
Present, sir.
Rajeshwari?
Present, sir.
Rakesh? Ramya?
Present, sir.
Rashmi?
Present, sir.
Ravi Shankar?
Yes, sir.
Rizwan?
Present, sir.
Vishal?
Present, sir.
Savita?
Yes, sir.
Shruti?
Present, sir.
Neha?
Yes, sir.
Spurti?
Present, sir.
Srinidhi?
Present, sir.
Srinivas?
Present, sir.
Sunil?
Present, sir.
Vaishnavi,
Present, sir.
Vinny.
Present, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Abhinav present, sir.
Abhinav.
USN 2.
Okay.
Sir, Kishore present, sir.
Sir, Bhargavi
What
present,
you have
sir.
become regular?
Sir, what, sir?
Kishore.
Sir, network
Kishore.
issue.
Kishore.
Sir, network issue.
Ah,
Sir,
okay.
Bhargavi present, sir.
Okay. Bhargavi. Okay. Next. Arbaz.
Yeah.
Jepamalia. Guria Kumari.
Sir, present, sir.
Rakesh. Okay. Fine. So could you able to understand control sections? Any confusion? C-sect, EXTDF, EXTREF. Okay. Fine. Now, having said that, we have written a program using control sections, and it is possible to define them with the C-sect and EXTREF, EXTDF as the case may be. Now let us see how we are going to assemble this, because writing is fine, but how the system is going to understand. Now let me know, since we have an independent control sections here, how do you expect the pass one to be progressed? How the pass one is going to tackle this? Any idea how pass one should be doing this? How do you expect pass one? How to have pass one? How do you expect pass one to deal this? Some inputs? How do you foresee the pass one dealing these control sections? How was it done in program blocks? Pass one. What was the concept of pass one for program blocks? How was the assembly done? How was that done? Fine. So we have three different control sections now in this program. Let it be any number of control section. It doesn't matter now. For each control section, we have to provide a separate location counter as we have done for the program blocks. So program blocks, even though it is a single program entity, for logical rearrangement itself, we have given independent location counter. Now imagine control section, each is existing separately. Each control section is an independent. Then obviously we have to provide separate location counter, no doubt on that. And hence we have given three independent location counters, two exclusive exclusive location counters for each of these control section. So they will be beginning with the whatever the starting address is there. Let us look at that, how it is being done. Look at this program. So this is the first control section now. If you look at the first control section, one second. The starting address is 00. Since it is the first control section, up to this one, this is provided in pass 1 from 00 till whatever we have. So next we have a RDREC, WRREC. Now let us look at what is the address. So this is RDREC. So look at the starting address here. Starting address is again reinitialized to 0. This is another location counter. Look at here now. This is another control section, again 000. That means each control section is provided with a separate location counter. We did the same thing in program blocks. But what I have done in program blocks later, when it comes to pass 2, we have merged everything together as if it is a single program. But in control section, we cannot do that because each one is existing separately. Now, how many programs we have in control sections concept now? Each program, which is a control section here, is a separate entity. Thereby, one single program is divided into 3 programs now. So if you look at the object program, you will get 3 object programs. You look at location counters, you will get 3 location counters because each one is existing independently. So each one we have to assemble as if it is a single program. It is a unique program. That's what we have to understand. Okay. Now, how to do the assembly now? Assembly, how are we doing now? We provide a location counter exclusively for each of them. And second, since each of them is existing independently, they are going to be separately assembled as if they are the individual programs. Okay. That is the concept with which control sections are started, meaning that the programs which can be separately written, which can be separately assembled, which can be separately linked, which can be separately loaded, those concepts we are going to call them as a control section. Accordingly, the assembly is going to be done. So for assembly, independent location counter for each of them. Later, each control section is assembled separately as if it is a new program. Okay. Since we are doing that, we need to be very careful because each program has concept called as what? External definition, external references. So these are the new things to this particular control section. Similarly, this control section has this and this control section has this. So this one additional feature we have to add. Since external definitions or external references are used, I need to be looking at them separately. Thereby, control sections are going to be used with 2 additional records called as a define record and a refer record. So far, how many records we have seen now? Header record we have seen, text record we have seen, modification record we have seen, end record we have seen. 4 records we have seen. Now we are adding 2 more records. What are they? Define record and refer record. So define record is corresponding to EXT-DEF. Refer record is corresponding to EXT-REF. So what is EXT-DEF? Those definitions, please recall again, those labels, those symbols or those definitions which I have defined and used in my current control section. They are called as the external definitions. So column 1 is D, column 2 to 7, name of those labels what I have defined. Since they have defined within my control section, I will have their address. So the next 8 to 13, I will have the address of each of them. So my defined record is like this: D, name of the symbol, address, name of the symbol, address, name of the symbol, address, nothing else. So next to that, we are going to repeat the same data again and again and again. This is what it is going to happen. So define record is a new record that is required for a control section. What does that contain? That contain column 1D, 2 to 7, the name of the symbol, 8 to 13, address of that symbol, and further we keep on repeating the same concept in the rest of the position. So name of the symbol, address, name of the symbol, address, because external definitions are those which are defined and used in my control section. So obviously I will be having the address. But look at the refer record. What are the external references? The external references are those I have used in my control section, but I don't know where they are. When I don't know where they are, how do I know the address of it? Thereby, address of them is not known to me. I know only the names. Accordingly, you look at the refer record. Refer record means capital R, 2 to 7, just name of the symbol. 8 to 13, there is no address because I don't know the address. So next 8 to 73, I keep on writing the names of the symbols because addresses are not known to me because they are external references. As far as my control section is concerned, they are not defined here, but I have used them. Where they are, I don't know at the past one. Only during loading, system will understand where they are. So till then, I have to reserve this value and I have to inform only assembler that, look, I have these variables which are not known to me, but I have used them. It is your headache to get the address of them. So during loading time, the address of them will be given to us. But till then, you have to maintain that record. And hence it is a refer record, which is only having the label's name, not the addresses. So that is the idea behind the define record and refer record. Fine, up to this is perfect. Now the issue is modification record. We know modification record we have used where? In the program relocation for whatever the purpose. Now look at the control section now. When I have my program, in single program itself, I had a problem of a relocation. Because single program itself, I had a problem of a relocation. Now imagine I have a 3 or 4 different entities. God knows where they are located in the memory. If that is the case, if I use a format 4 instruction, I need to be very, very careful to deal with them. So I need to have a revised modification record. Why revised modification record? Because, for example, I might have used buffend minus buffer. We have just now seen. We don't know where buffend will be. We don't know where buffer will be because they will be loaded elsewhere in the system. We will not be having any idea what is their address. So if that is the case, we need to be very careful that plus and minus, buffend minus buffer, plus buffend, all these things we have used in the program. So we should deal with such things because they will be independently loaded wherever memory is possible at different points of time. If that is the case, we should be extending the modification record or we should be revising the existing modification record. So we have seen existing modification record. What is that? Column 1, M, 2 to 7, the starting address of the actual data that need to be modified. We know how to take that. On 8 to 9, the address, the length, that is 5 bytes, half bytes we have taken. So in addition to that, column 10, we add plus or minus. Why plus or minus? Like buffend minus buffer. So minus is there. Next, buffend plus 1000, plus is there. So like that, we have to say, what is that bit or what is that flag or what is that modification symbol we are going to do. Later 11 to 16, again which symbol we are going to add or which symbol we are going to subtract. So this is the revised modification record. So modification record is already existing. It is not a new, but we are going to update. Now total how many records now? 6 records. One is the header record, text record, modification record, define record, refer record, and end record. So modification record revised is not a new one. It is a part of the same record. Nothing to worry. So totally 6 records. We started with 3. Today we are ending with 6 because this is the end of our concept of a assembler. So thereby at the end of assembler, we emerge with the 6 records that are going to be part of our object program. So what you have seen in control section now, what is the control section? How the program is defined, how the program is written, how to deal with in assembly, and what is the new record that is required, how assembly is taken care. So having said that, now let us look at the object program. How does it look now? So object program is like this. Just now we have seen that a given program is divided into 3 control sections. Each control section is going to be projected as if it is a new program. Thereby we'll have a for each control section a separate object program. So 3 control section, 3 object programs. So first one is a copy, second one is RDREC, third one is a WRREC. What are the contents? Header record, D record, R record, T record, modification record, E record. So what are mandatory here? H record is mandatory, T record is mandatory, E record is mandatory. D, R, M, it depends. For example, here D record is missing because there is no external definition here. I need not write, but I have only references. I have written R record, and T is there, M is there. Similarly, here D record is missing because there is no external definition. It is only R. It is only R record, T record, and modification record. So modification record, this is addition. Up to this we have seen so far modification record. Now it is a modified. You can see plus, you can see plus, you can see plus. Why plus? If you call this 0004, 011, 024 address, this is what we have used. If you remember the first control section, let us see here. We have used RDREC, we have used WRREC, we have used WRREC. What is RDREC address now? 0003 means 0004, 1 plus. Similarly here, 0010 means 0011. 0023 means 0024. So 004, 0011, 0024. Let us see. See 004, 0011, 0024. Why you have added plus here? Because these are nothing but the new references. Wherever they are, their starting address you add to this. Their starting address you add to this. Their starting address you add to this. That is the meaning. Thereby it is a plus. So now similarly here we have buffer, length, buffend, buffer. I need your attention here. So far it is 05, 05, 05. That's what we have seen, off bytes, 05, 05. Suddenly it is becoming 06. Why? Just because 5 plus 1, 6? No, it is not a sudden. Let me take you to the program. Look at this program where it is being used now. This is a place we have used buffer and buffend and buffer. This is a place we have used buffend and buffer. So when we are here in buffend and buffer in the first program, buffend and buffer are defined here only. So I will get a constant. This is an expression. What type of expression it is now? An absolute expression. What is an absolute expression? Absolute expression is the one which value is available immediately because everything is known to me. I know what is buffend. I know what is buffer. If I subtract, I will get value. I know this. This is an absolute value. No problem in first control section. But same thing I have used in the second control section. I have assigned something to the max length. So even though it is a buffend and minus buffer is external reference, it is pretty sure during the course of loading of the program, I know the value of buffend, I know value of the buffer. So this minus this is what? It is an address because this is a word. What is a word? Word is nothing but an integer. The result of this is going to be an integer. If the result of the integer is how many bytes? Integer is a 3 bytes. 3 byte means 6 half bytes. That is why it is written as a 6. Whereas in all other places, it is an address. That is a 20 bits. Here also it is 20 bits, 20 bits, 20 bits. When it comes to buffend and buffer, it is not the address, but it is the integer. How do you say? We say that because word is there. What do you mean by word? Word means an integer. That's why it is 6. Not that we wanted it to be 6 or not is a printing mistake. So depending upon what program you have written, accordingly we will encounter this. So this is how the control sections are written. I'll just give an example. In the exam, you cannot write everything. So you can write up to this. Simply write 1D, 1R, 1T, 1M. So you can write whatever the numbers you want, but you have to highlight that a program is going to have header record, D record, R record, T record, M record, and E record. So this is how we should be showcasing in the examination. So this is about the control section. So to recall again, control sections are totally different from program blocks. There should not be any confusion, even though they look similar as far as the pass 1 is concerned. In pass 1, in both the cases of program blocks and control section, we give independent location counter. But Entire concept is different from program blocks to control section. What is the concept? The concept is program blocks are internal logical arrangement. They are not going to be separated. Whereas in the case of control sections are going to be existing independently right from source program till the object program. That is the first and clear difference. Second, USC is the assembly directive that we use for the program blocks, whereas the CSECT is assembly directive we use for the control section. And third, same records or object program are used in program blocks like what we used earlier, but when it comes to control section, we add two more records by name, D record and R records. These are the typical differences what you see in the program blocks and the control section. So take an assignment here. Take an assignment. First question, the second assignment, first question. We have 5 questions in this each assignment. For second assignment, the first question. Differentiate between program blocks and control sections. Differentiate between program blocks and control sections. So with this,